If you don't like boring news but still crave the truth, then dive into The Robert and Crew Show. From mind-bending conspiracy theories to wild weather phenomena, we've got it all. Ever wondered what's really happening in your hometown, or what secrets the global news isn't telling you? We dig deep into the core of every story, unraveling the mysteries one podcast at a time. Join Robert and the crew as we navigate this vibrant, ever-changing cyberpunk landscape, bringing you interviews with the most intriguing minds out there. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, a news junkie or a weather enthusiast, there's something here for you. So strap in, listeners, because we're about to take you on a ride through the neon-lit alleys of truth and intrigue. This is the Robert and Crew Show, where the future meets the fantastic.
Well, welcome back to the Robert and Crew Show. As always, I'm your host, Robert.
And I'm the co-host Crew.
And I'm the co-host, Julie.
And tonight, we are going to be going over secret societies, but most iconically, the Skull and Bones from Yale's University.
Yep.
So, tonight, I know that Julie has some information for us. And then I've also gotten something that I wrote up that I'm going to read tonight. But if you'd like to, Julie, you can start us off tonight.
Okay. The Skull and Bones Society from Yale University was founded in 1832 as a strong emphasis on secrecy. Each year, 15 juniors are selected to join, and let's see, I'm sorry. So each year, 15 juniors are selected to join, and it said that they got Geronimo and Pancho Villa at their in their society.
Right.
And
So they
also,
have Geronimo and Pancho Villa.
yes,
Okay.
the membership rosters were once published, and there were 3 presidents: William Howard Taft, Bush Jr., and Bush Sr. And let's see, Henry Luce was the founder of Time Magazine. He was in there. And also John Kerry. And in 1992, they admitted women. And in 2020, they had a non-white class of 15 members.
Okay.
They have controversies include conspiracy theories about global control and allegations of stealing historical skulls, which I mentioned, remain debated. Skull and Bones, often called the Order or Bones. It was founded by William Huntington Russell and Al Pinto in 1832.
Okay.
They
So Skull and Bones was officially founded in 1832.
Yes.
Okay.
So the 322 is believed to reference the year 322 BCE, and it acts as a fraternity for social elites. It provides a platform for networking with activities like retreats on Deer Island for rekindle of friendships. So that's about what I got.
Okay, so yeah, so Skull and Bones did have 3 presidents and one person that ran for president, who was John Kerry. Um, I do want to hit on some facts here that we have. There's multiple secret societies, not just Skull and Bones. So we of course have the Knights Templar from 1119 to 1312. It was a medieval Christian military order founded to protect pilgrims during the Crusades, known for their wealth, banking systems, and secrecy. They were suppressed in the 14th century by King Philip of France. Modern groups claiming descent often borrow the symbolism but lack direct lineage. They were accused of heresy and secrecy. Their dissolution fueled conspiracy theories about hidden treasures and knowledge. And then we had the Order of Assassins from the 11th to 13th century. A Nizari Ismaili sect in the medieval Middle East known for targeted political assassinations. Their name derived from Hash Ashin, gave risen to the term assassin. They were feared for their covert operations and psychological warfare. Their modern Nizari descendants focus on social justice and religious tolerance, distancing themselves from their violent historical reputation. And then we have the one that everybody loves, the Bavarian Illuminati, from 1776 to 1785. They were founded by Adam Weishaupt in Bavaria. The Enlightenment era group aimed to promote secularism, rationalism, and republicanism, opposing superstition and religious influence. It was banned by the Bavarian government and officially disbanded, though conspiracy theories claim it continued its influence. They often exaggerate in popular culture as a shadowy group controlling worldwide events, despite no evidence of survival past the 18th century. And then we have the Carbonaria, or the Carbonari, an Italian secret society active during the early 1800s, focused on liberal and nationalist ideals, opposing Napoleonic rule and later Austrian influence. They used secretive rituals and played a role in the unification of Italy. Known for their revolutionary activities, they influenced later political movements, but faded by the mid-19th century. And then we have the Black Hand, or Unification or Death, early 20th century. A Serbian secret society founded in 1911, and it was responsible for 1914 assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, which triggered World War I. They aimed to unify South Slavic territories. Their actions had profound global consequences, but the group was short-lived due to political crackdowns. And then we had the Thule Society of 1918 to 1920s. It was a German occult and nationalist group that influenced early Nazi ideology through direct connection to the Nazi Party. It promoted Aryan mysticism and anti-Semitism. Often overstated as a proto-Nazi organization, its influence was more ideological than organizational. Then we had the Mithric Mysteries from the 1st to 4th century AD. It was a Roman mystery cult centered on the god Mithras, popular among soldiers. It involved secretive initiations and rituals in underground temples in Mithra, surprised by Christianity in the 4th century, suppressed Christianity, not surprised. Known for 7 levels of initiation and focus on war and salvation. It competed with early Christianity. Then we have the frat secret societies of colleges. We have the Freemasons from 1717 to the present. We have Skull and Bones from 1832 to the present. And we have the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn from 1887 to the present. And then we have the the Rosicrucians from the early 17th century to the present. We've Opus Dei from 1928 to the present. And we have the Improved Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks of the World from 1868 to the present. Then we have the Bilderberg Group from the 1954 to the present. Seven Society, 1905 to the present. And we have the Order of Gingul from 1889 to the present. We also have the Euclidean Society from the 1832 to the present. We have the Scarabean Senior Society from 1915 to the present. And we have the Poro Society of West Africa, 19th century to the present. So there are quite a few secret societies in the world. Some are known, but it's very hard to say if all secret societies are known because, I mean, they're just that, they're secret. They
Yeah.
only become known when somebody talks.
I forgot about the Elks one. But
Yeah,
that
I
reminded me. You've heard of the Lions Club?
yes.
They usually help people with glasses and other types of stuff. But I looked it up one time, and I think they kind of coexist with the Masons, if I'm not mistaken. But they don't really talk about that.
I'm not
But
sure.
I
I couldn't
found
really
that
comment
out
on that.
a few years ago.
Yeah, I can't really comment on that because I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not
Yale,
100%, but
yeah, it's interesting. Well, like I'll have to look that up. Yale's University of Skull has Skull and Bones, which is one of the oldest and most enigmatic secret societies in the United States. It has a long captivated public imagination with its aura of exclusivity, power, and secrecy. It was founded in 1832. The society, also known for the Order 322, the Brotherhood of Death, has been a breeding ground for influential figures in American politics, business, and intelligence. Its notable members, which Julie already talked about, were former former President George H.W. Bush and father George, and son George W. Bush, and well-known former Secretary of State John Kerry. And I think Julia also mentioned something about the guy who made Time magazine.
yes, the owner of Time magazine was a member.
Skull and Bones did and did not have. Sorry, they were basically conspirized to have connections with the Freemasons, the Ku Klux Klan, and the Black Panthers, but no claims can actually be substantiated or proven. The Skull and Bones was established at Yale University in New Haven, Connecticut, by William Huntington, and by William Huntington Russell and Alphonso Taft. He was later the father of President William Howard Taft. So it was William Howard Taft's father who helped
Okay.
create. Alphonso Taft helped create the Skull and Bones. The society's emblem is a skull with crossbones with the number 322. It's steeped in mystery. Some suggest that 322 refers to the year 322 BC, marking the death of the Greek orator Demosthenes, I guess. I'm probably butchering that.
Oh,
And Athens shift from democracy to plutocracy, implying that society's belief in elite governance. Others speculate it demotes the society's founding in 1832, the second chapter of a German secret society. The
We
cryptic
got a special
symbol.
guest.
Oh, really? Who's our
Yeah,
special guest?
Cruise Cat.
Spyro being
Who's that?
Spyro. Spyro.
Oh, Cruise Cat.
Yeah.
How's your cat doing, brother? Is he still annoying you?
Ornery. Yeah, but he's being good right now. He's just being ornery.
Right. So I do want to talk real quick about how George H.W. Bush and George W. Bush and John Kerry being bonesmen. But basically, in the Skull and Bones, they produced a disproportionate number of influential figures, including United States presidents, William Howard Taft, George H.W. Bush, and George W. Bush. George H.W. Bush, a member of the class of 1948, leveraged Bonesman connections throughout his career, from all of his ventures to presidency. His father, Prescott Bush, allegedly stole the skull of Apache leader Geronimo in 1918, a take that underscores the society's penchant for provocative rituals. George W. Bush, class of 1968, wrote in his autobiography, "My senior year, I joined Skull and Bones, a secret society. So secret, I can't say anything more," highlighting the group's code of silence. His administration included included Bonesmen in key roles, such as Security and Exchange Commission Chairman William Donaldson. John Kerry, class of 1966, also a Bonesman, faced George W. Bush in 2004 presidential election, marking a rare instance where both major party candidates were members of the same secret society. When asked about their shared membership, Kerry replied, "Not much, because it's a secret," mirroring Bush's reticence. This secret has led to some question whether Bonesmen prioritize loyalty to the society over public interest, with critics like Alexandria Robbins arguing that Skull and Bones serves as an elite network for advancing members' careers. And yeah, so basically that's what I have on all of the secret society stuff that I could pull up about those particular societies. When it comes down to Skull and Bones and the Illuminati, what are your thoughts? Is it possible that these Illuminati people are actually out there right now and controlling the parts of the world and the way things go in certain directions and causing certain economic hardships, possibly even market crashes where it needs to happen, forcing elections and other things, and an
I think
obvious
it's
espionage?
possible
What about
because
you,
there
Chris?
was a justice of one of the justices on the Supreme Court. He was caught on camera about the Illuminati or being
What did he
there.
say?
There's a video floating out there that I've seen. I didn't find one this time, but I've seen one where he was caught talking about it or being there.
Oh, you should have saved it.
Yeah.
What
It
was the
happens.
question, Bob?
It was
Uh,
one of the Supreme Court justices. I forget what's his name.
I'm not sure.
I would have to try to find it again. I think it was on YouTube is where I've seen it.
Gotcha. Well, the question that I had for you, crew, was do you feel that societies like the Illuminati and Skull and Bones actually have as much power and control as some people fear that they do? Do you think there's really these people that are behind the curtains pulling certain ropes at certain times and causing certain things to happen?
Yes, because
Yeah, it's
with them being having leadership skills, they value academic achievement, athletic ability, um, and it's for those kind of people that value that kind of shit and to, quote unquote, hide shit from us on a daily fucking basis. We're screwed either way because we'll never know.
but
Yeah.
but you personally think that there is groups that have that kind of control?
Yes.
Okay. So
Like,
And you know
okay,
the
I'll give you an example.
Geronimo.
I'll give you an example. How come we those people who are in control, who are all over the world, won't let us go near Antarctica?
well, that just works back into your theory that the Earth is flat. But
Right.
supposedly, it's because we have a treaty in Antarctica that protects the ground from mining and doing other things that would cause certain countries, if they were to start mining or taking things out of Antarctica, to become prevalently wealthy. That's what we're
Yeah.
told.
Well,
Nobody knows the real story behind it.
and also those people somehow found a way to get so much money, which it was I think it was in the trillions. I can't remember, to have underground cities built.
Well, yeah, the underground cities are. I mean, let's stick to one subject here. Like you're switching off here, but I get where you're going with it. The underground cities, like, so basically, you think that this is where these people are living
Yeah,
is underground away from everybody else. So basically, their decisions don't even affect them. Their decisions only affect us.
yeah.
Basically,
Mm.
man, it's
Because
one hell of a theory.
every
Yeah, it
single thing
is.
we've done over the years behind the scenes has affected all of us in a way. For one, we were they have messed with the school systems. They have messed with things we were taught, things we've known. Now we can't say certain things because we'll quote unquote go against their system.
Yeah.
Or you're racist, or you're anti-Semite, or you're a horrible human being, or you're sexist, or you're they'll call you any name in the book so that they're right. And like, in my personal opinion, if you go against the hierarchy, then you usually, the first thing that comes back at you is, if you're a person of any stature, if you have any pull in the community, they try to cancel you. It's cancel culture. They pull up some random person, and they try to get that person to admit to them that you did something wrong, whether it was SA or bad advances and you're married, or whatever it could be, whatever dirt they can get, whether you're secretly gay, whatever they can get, literally. And I believe that's a lot of different things. Like, what do you feel about, like, as weird as it is, but these connections to secret societies that are, like, almost,
Too
it's
good to be
almost
true.
like they're they're like a family, not too good to be true. It's like they're a family, and they all basically choose and pick where their teammates end up. And like for instance, with Skull and Bones, a
You
lot of these people wound up as presidents.
okay? So that goes back to a selection process within the Skull and Bones, which is family connection. Some members are a legacy, which you just said they think of each other like family because a lot of them are a legacy that go in to Skull and Bones in the secret society. So a lot of them are family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy to me that so many of these people end up being in such high positions though. That
And
you see these guys end up in the White House, or they end up being president, or they end up being somewhere in government. They have a position that they're actually going to be able to affect the world around them in.
one thing that they don't tell you, but this is truth, they don't give a flying fuck about the freaking amendments. They never have. Those are just set in place just so that way they can control. But whenever you do an amendment, they look at you like that don't matter to us.
Well, no, the so depending on what you're talking about, depending on if you're like talking about, for instance, like being in a court or being arrested or being whatever. Like if you evoke the Fifth Amendment, isn't that to like basically not talk? So like I'm not going to talk at all. I evoke my Fifth
I think
Amendment
so,
right to
yeah.
not talk.
I think so, yeah. But like,
Like
for
remain
example,
silent.
yeah, another perfect example, the First Amendment. We throw the First Amendment, at those type of people to look at us be like that don't matter,
Well, the
Yeah.
First Amendment is free speech, correct?
right? Yeah. The moment
Right.
you do freedom of speech, they look at you like, oh well,
Free speech.
you're.
Free speech.
Yeah. They
Free
look
speech
at you like
wasn't.
you're crazy.
They look at you like
Yeah,
you're
free
crazy, and they
speech wasn't. Free speech wasn't never a thing, and the reason I can tell you it wasn't never a thing is because we've always had words that get basically banned by communities. And like, yes, people can argue all day, yeah, well, those are banned by certain communities, not banned by the entirety of the world. No, but if you say those words in some places, you might actually end up getting killed for it.
Yep.
So basically, no, there are words that cannot be said. Therefore, free speech is not a thing.
well, in the
We've never really had free speech.
right. Well, in the
It's
fact
the
that
fact. I'm sorry. What?
okay, so with us being an American, they have all these amendments, and the fact that we supposedly were told, oh yeah, you have freedom of speech, but in reality, you just don't,
Not really.
because all these woke communities get butthurt about a certain word.
Well, it can be anything.
Yeah.
If what you say goes against their belief, then what you say is no longer relevant. We see it in extreme leftist groups. We see it in extreme rightist groups. We see it in both. It's not a left and it's not a right thing. It's people that believe they're right and believe their way of right is the only right way. Okay,
Yep.
that's where the problems start. That's how it's always been.
And in other terms, they see black and white. No, it's their way or the highway. No ifs, ands, or buts. You're doing it this way. Tough luck. If you go against our way, um you
Kind of
are
like in my own family.
what is what is that term I'm looking for? You are basically a disgrace to society in their eyes.
In whose eyes? Like, are you talking about government or these extreme lefts and these extreme rights?
Those people.
Yeah. So I found that the best people to hang out with the best people to basically follow belief system wise are the people that believe basically do what you know is right. If you think it's wrong or you know somebody else would think it's wrong, then it's probably not the right thing to do. Be that person and hang out with people like that because then you'll never be in trouble.
Yeah.
The it's these people that hang out with groups of people that aren't good for them.
And
Like
it's also like this. They make all these promises, but they're actually empty promises.
well, that's both sides. It's not just one side. Like that's the problem with political parties. That's the problem with societies, with secret societies is they all have an agenda. And as long as there's a legitimate agenda that people are following in one way or another, you're never going to have people agree on anything. It's always going to be the bill passes by one or it doesn't pass because there's too many people voting against it. Things like that. Like bills pass by one vote all the time.
Mhm.
And that's because we literally have two parties and one of those parties is always trying to get the upper hand, but they'll do it by downvoting bills that would be good for the entire community. That would not just be good for one part or one group. It would be good for everybody, but they get voted down because they weren't written by their group. That happens all the time.
Yeah.
90% of America's failures is because American politics works the way it does. Think about that. 90% of our failures are our own failures because of our political ways. It's not because of any foreign force. It's our own political problems. So, taking the aspects, we have these secret societies, okay? Say they're all ran by these people and they all have an agenda and they get into office. Then you have, like, for instance, you have George H.W. Bush, who gets in office first, and he's kind of wacko. And then you have his son who gets in there after him. And basically you have these two running an obvious agenda because they were both a part of the same exact thing. So that is just creepy to me. It's like, why would we ever allow that? And the whole thing of like father and son presidences or presidents, I think that is wrong in my personal opinion. I don't think that. So if I had it my way, you know how like the draft works with the military?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put all 50 and up men, and we can add women if we want, but put all 50 and up men inside of a draft and pull 7 names out, and those 7 people have to run a campaign to be president. You don't get to pick if you're running for president. You get chosen. And everybody has to do the job. If you get picked, you have to do the job. That's just what happens. I think that's how politics should work. It shouldn't work any other way. The
But
people should be involved,
but
and
in
they should be normal because there's
but
no
in
reason.
reality,
What?
but in reality, the problem is they pick the quote unquote people behind the scenes pick a select couple of government officials, put them on the screen, and before they go live, they tell those select few, you have to be the ones to win over. But in reality, one of you's already been picked.
Right, but I'm saying that system can be changed. I'm saying like so like it will take a while. It probably won't happen till sadly till we're too old to give a crap anymore. But with our children and our children's children, there is hope for them. We can change this entire system, which would be wonderful. If we
We
could change
could,
the entire system, it would be great
we
for the
could,
country.
but there's one problem, and we all know this. And I've said this multiple times, and you've said this multiple times, Rob. The system is corrupt.
Well, yeah,
People who run the show behind the scenes are all corrupt. And then their next generation who go into behind the scenes are corrupt. Like you said, no one in the family should be going alongside their family in this problem because they learn from their parents. And when they act like their parents, they become even more corrupt. It's an ego trip.
Sounds
It's their
about
way or
right.
the highway. And even though we do want it to run a certain way, be better, those people that we want to go against and make the system better, it's going to be hard, yes, and it's going to take a long time. But until they see their flaws and their mistakes, nothing's going to change.
right.
It's always
I,
been
I
like that.
I see it a little bit differently. I think it can be changed. It's just the fact is, if the American people keep giving these politicians all this leeway, then it will never change. But if the
Well,
public stands up and says we've had enough, we're not voting anybody else in that we don't believe in or that doesn't have our interest in mind, trust me, politicians will start changing what they do.
it
Uh,
goes back to this. It goes back
we
to this. And I don't mean to cut you off on this part on that real quick, but I do want to bring this part up real quick. It goes back to this. We pay them, us American folk, pay the government. The more we pay them, the more they act like that. If we stop paying them, they will lose control. Simple as that.
you have to stop voting for them.
That too.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Is we get caught in a who has our interest and who's saying the best sweet nothings and vote for that person.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. If you vote for somebody that's just whispering you sweet nothings but never does anything, and you've put that same person in office 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, like say they've been in Congress their half their freaking life, I think it's time for them to be booted out of Congress. And I think term limits need to be set for people. But when you have these secret societies, specifically Skull and Bones, I think that also needs to be looked at with people in politics. Is if you have really prominent people who all did the same thing and went to the same thing while they were in college, there's a good chance they all believe the same thing and have the same agenda. And then we have to really ask ourselves, what is that agenda? It's like how everybody expects the Illuminati or the Freemasons are running everything. You know,
Well,
the triangle eye thing. If any music artist does the triangle over their eye, they're immediately part of the Illuminati. Or if anybody says anything weird about somebody else that everybody likes, they're immediately part of the Illuminati, or they're immediately an enemy of the Illuminati.
Yep.
But we
Hey,
have no
one
proof.
thing about Skull and Bones, they say the family of Geronimo tried to take the society to court, but it got dismissed because they couldn't I guess they didn't get enough information.
They couldn't prove it.
They couldn't prove that they had it.
Yeah, they couldn't prove it. And supposedly Prescott Bush is the one who stole it,
Yeah.
which that's crazy. So we have two presidents, and one of the presidents, and both of those presidents, one's father and one's grandfather stole the skull of Geronimo and brought it to the secret society. Like, what the actual hell? Like, that is so screwed up.
It is. And then I think they use it to drink out of during their rituals.
Is that alleged,
Isn't that
or is that
I don't. That's alleged. Allegedly
okay? Like,
is what
that's
I've
So
heard.
here's what I have on Skull and Bones real quick. Okay, so identification invitation. Potential members are often identified by current members or alumni, typically based on their achievements, leadership skills, or notable qualities. Evaluation. Candidates might undergo some form of evaluation or screening, which could include interviews, tests of character, or assessments of their skills and abilities. Initiation rituals. Those selected who would likely participate in initiation rituals, which are kept secret from the public and even from non-members within Yale. Given the society's emphasis on loyalty, power, and secrecy, members might be expected to demonstrate loyalty. Members might be expected to prior, I can't say the word, prioritize the society's
priority?
interest. Thank you. Interest and maintain confidentiality about its activities, participation in society's activities. This could include attending meetings, participating in rituals, and contributing to the society's goals and projects. Uphold the society's values. Members would likely be expected to embody the values and principles that Skull and Bones represents, which might include a sense of elitism, ambition, and desire for influence.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we don't exactly know what they do.
No, because it's a secret.
Right. We don't know if they do rituals with cups. Some say that they do have they do the whole thing kind of like what they do at what is that one place that we just covered not that long ago?
Bohemian Grove.
Bohemian Grove, thank you. Where they're wearing robes and they're all and Skull and Bones is nothing but a male group.
Yeah.
Well, they were for a while, but they apparently allow women now.
Yeah, because in my notes it said they let women in 19. Let's see, what year was it? 1992. They finally let women in.
Okay. And if anybody's seen the 3 movies, Skull and Bones, 1, 2, and 3, you kind of get a general idea of what they could do, but that movie's fiction, but kind of realistic in a way because it does kind of explain what they do require of you in Skull and Bones.
Right.
I've seen those movies and they're really good, but
Well,
Yeah.
I do have some videos.
Okay.
The Skull and Bones. Founded in 1832 at Yale University, Connecticut, the Skull and Bones has been a well-known yet mysterious society since its creation. So exclusive that only a handful of Yale University students are granted initiation to the society each year, yet the majority of its past members consist of high-ranking politicians, leaders of international business, and even multiple US presidents. The group's activities are kept a closely guarded secret, but more often than not, its members find themselves working in positions of power and acclaim after graduation from the university, and many people believe that the group has become something of a preparation ground for pre-selected future industry leaders and political representatives.
The numbers 322 are always found beneath its logo. They could be a reference to one of the fraternity's models, Athenian orator Demosthenes. His rhetoric is legendary. Demosthenes died in the year 322 BC. Alexandra Robbins knows more.
Just leave us on a cliffhanger, why don't you?
So he said the word that I couldn't say before, Demosthenes.
Well, I could have told you what it was, how to pronounce it if you spelled it out for me, because I know Greek names very well.
Yeah, Demosthenes or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
What you're hearing is the first recording ever made of the Skull and Bones initiation ceremony. It has never been broadcast before. 15 new members of the club are being introduced into the macabre rituals of Skull and Bones by the senior students who are about to graduate. The club has what some might see as a strange fascination with death, skulls and bones. There's the chants too, difficult to hear first of all, but including the devil equals death, death equals death.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. A little freaky.
That is.
Okay.
It is freaky.
Someone was freaking out.
Yeah, like he was like yelling at those people or whatever.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go
I'm
wild.
sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number 322. You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us?
Not much, because it's a secret.
Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code?
I wish there were something secret I could manifest.
322, a secret number?
There are all kinds of secrets, Tim.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
Tim Russert, the face of NBC's long-running Meet the Press, has died. NBC News says he had suffered an apparent heart attack. Tim Russert was 58 years old.
But in reality, he was asking questions, so they eliminated him.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's possible too, allegedly.
Because here's the thing. When you're oppressing members of a secret society group like that, they're going to eliminate you because you're asking too many questions.
Yeah.
Right.
So this building behind me has no windows and a really creepy entrance. Let's go knock on the door and see what's happening. You got this, Gohar. You got this, Gohar. Okay, never mind, I can't do this. This building is known as the Tomb, and it's home to the Skull and Bones, a notorious secret society at Yale University. The truth is, nobody knows what happens inside except for its members, who are known as the Bones Men. These tend to be campus leaders, high-achieving students, and members from elite families. Each year, the Skull and Bones chooses 15 new members on a day known as Tap Day. And then many of these members rise to the upper echelons of society, namely in business and politics. Notable alumni include George W. Bush, George H.W. Bush, and William Taft. What do you think they saw behind those doors?
Taft.
Interesting.
So crazy that it goes all the way back to William Howard Taft.
Behind this door, members of the Skull and Bones Secret Society at Yale wrongly possessed the skull of Geronimo. Along with his remains, they decorated the interior with funeral items, coffins, and artwork. Little is known of what rituals take place, as members have famously refused to comment. There's a certain coffin ritual that's particularly questionable. The Skull and Bones Society was founded in 1832 and has included the presidents George W. and George H.W. Bush, as well as William Taft. All members bear nicknames such as Sage, Scroll and Key, and Chalice. Now for Geronimo's skull. After his death, Bonesman stole the remains for the tomb, until his relatives sued for their return. With all the mystery, it's hard not to ask what really goes on.
So, but she didn't add in there that they didn't get it back.
Yep.
What if one of America's most secretive organizations holds the key to elite power, and it's hidden inside Yale? Are you ready to unlock the mystery of Skull and Bones? Founded in 1832, Skull and Bones is Yale University's oldest secret society. Steeped in ritual and shrouded in mystery, this organization has long sparked rumors and conspiracy theories about its powerful members and hidden agendas. Every spring, only 15 rising seniors are tapped to join this exclusive brotherhood, from clandestine meetings in its infamous tomb to the enigmatic 322 on its emblem, allegedly linked to ancient history. Skull and Bones has been connected with names that echo through American politics and business, including presidents and powerful elites. But what dark secrets lie behind those locked doors? Is there more truth to the legends than meets the eye? Follow now for more deep dives into history's hidden power plays. Like, comment.
This is how the rich and powerful really operate.
Where am I? Grandpa? What are you doing here?
Chris, welcome to the Skull and Bones Society. This is where the most powerful men in the world are groomed for their futures.
I'm sure this is exactly how it happens.
Every CEO at the Skull and Bones Society has been a part of my family for decades, and we want you to become a member.
Really? Wow, cool!
Excellent. You get your own stock portfolio and the best medical care on the planet. You'll be kept as healthy as a horse. The first Thursday of every month, we go to a local orphanage, pick out a kid, fill out all the paperwork, and then don't take him home. It's hilarious.
That sounds kind of cruel.
No, you'll love it. It's great.
You wanted to see me, Grandpa?
Yes, Chris, your pledge period is over. The Skull and Bones elders are now ready to admit you to our ranks. Dinner it done.
Thanks, Grandpa.
How do you feel about that?
I think it's true. They probably put a lot of family members in.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Family Guy, really.
Yeah, man. Family Guy. They know what's up. They know what's going on. Just like the Simpsons can predict the future.
Yeah. And we're still trying to figure out how they did that.
Right. 'Cause they're time travelers.
That these powerful families have, specifically here in our country, but there is also, obviously, around the world, other orders. Here, the Order of Skull and Bones. Over in the UK, they have the group at Oxford, which is linked to the Rothschilds. The group is another secret society, and it also has links to Skull and Bones. But look at this. Now, you might not have heard of some of these families, but when you see what they're prominent in and what really they have a lot of control over, it's laughable. Because these people all come from inside of Skull and Bones, and these are all industries, especially in the 1800s, that gave these people tons of control. We have the Whitney family, the Perkins family, the Stimson family, the Taft family, and of course, as all of us know, Taft became the son of the original Taft, who was one of the founders, became president of the United States. The Wadsworth family, the Gilman family. the Phelps family, the Bundy family, the Lord family. And then, of course, we get the Rockefeller family, who at the time was really in control of Standard Oil, along with another family who's one of the prominent families in the order, the Payne family. So we have Standard Oil, control of oil, right? Then we get the Davison family, whose links to J.P. Morgan and the bankers and the Browns. Then we get the Harriman family, who was in control of the railroads. That family is also linked to the Bush family. We get the Weyerhaeuser family in control of lumber, the Sloan family in control of retail, and the Pillsbury family. Remember the Pillsbury Doughboy? And I'm not talking about Buddha. The Pillsbury Doughboy, right? Ring a bell? Pillsbury, still a prominent company, selling poison, passed off as food. Well, before they were a brand name, they were in control of flour milling. So we have Standard Oil control through the order, control of the railroads, which at the time, you know, railroads are still something that's very important for them, but obviously it's not as important as it used to be. So they had railroads, oil, lumber to build, retail to sell, banking with J.P. Morgan, as well as the Browns and other banksters, and food, flour milling. All of this connected to this one secret society, this one order out of thousands of orders in this country. Obviously, Skull and Bones is one of the more prominent organizations inside of the pyramid. But remember, when members of this group, there's not as many as you would think, because they only bring in 15 new people a year. So when they go into, you know, the Trilateral Commission, the Bilderberg Group, the Council on Foreign Relations, see, these are all larger organizations made up of people from many different secret societies. So I'm trying to symbolize this so the younger people out there understand.
So yeah, he's saying that basically all of these societies that are ran by these people control different parts of the government or different parts of the world, and they all know it. They all have one agenda, like I was explaining before.
Yeah.
Yep.
And even the Pillsbury Doughboy. Oh my goodness. I
Yeah,
had
the
no idea.
Pillsbury family.
Yeah.
Elm Street said only one member from it has ever came out and spoken publicly, which is kind of crazy. For sure. But is there anything else you guys want to touch on tonight about the Skull and Bones Society?
No, that's all I really had.
Hey, well, tonight was kind of a shorter stream, guys. We did a stream on the Skull and Bones Society. Very interesting. I learned quite a bit that I didn't know before. That's for sure. And I also heard a lot of the stuff that I had known. I find it very interesting that families and presidents and people of the same group of political ideology all go to these places and are all pushed out, which makes me feel that that group has ties to people that can directly affect the outcome of their lives, which that's a very unfair advantage in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But anyways, I had a wonderful night tonight. Thank you guys for hanging out and chilling with me, and talking about secret societies and talking about the Skull and Bones.
Yeah, I found it pretty interesting.
And what was the one thing you found out tonight that you didn't know before, or that you thought was really interesting?
I always thought the skull of Geronimo was pretty interesting, if they really have it or not.
Right. And Crew, what was yours?
The fact that we will never know what they're really doing behind the scenes. That's something interesting that I'm wanting to learn about, what they really are doing.
Yeah.
I guess we won't know until somebody leaks it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But tomorrow we got a season finale coming up, which we will be going on another week break after the season finale of season 5. And the season finale we are doing is what's going on in Los Angeles as we speak.
They probably got Lincoln's skull or something too. Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Didn't they say they opened up Lincoln's tomb and the body wasn't there?
I
don't know.
What I do know is when they did, they said he looked so kind of like what they do with mummies. Yes, LA protest.
Yeah.
But you know what they do? You know how what they do with the mummies, like starts
Yeah,
with
they embalm it.
Embalm it. He looks so embalmed, and his face is so like preserved. It like when I was looking through that stuff on TikTok, and oh wow. But yeah, when I was doing all that stuff, looking at all that stuff, it was crazy. On learning all that stuff on Lincoln, and I'm like, oh wow, they embalmed him and made his face, his whole skull and face look so preserved and everything. Like,
Right.
It was creepy.
There are people that believe that Abraham Lincoln was a Nephilim.
Oh my goodness.
Did you know that? There's an entire
I had no
group of
idea.
people that believe that. Yeah.
But I know that they were grave robbers, and so they had to move him a couple of different places before they now have that one tomb for him, and he's
Right.
buried like several feet under in concrete, so nobody can reach him.
Right. All right, guys. Well, like Cruz said, tomorrow we'll be doing the season finale, and after that we'll be taking a week break, and then we'll be starting fresh again, and we'll be hitting you guys with some new topics. Until then, much love from the Robert and Cruz Show. Peace out, and have a wonderful night.
If you don't like boring news but still crave the truth, then dive into The Robert and Cruz Show. From mind-bending conspiracy theories to wild weather phenomena, we've got it all. Ever wondered what's really happening in your hometown, or what secrets the global news isn't telling you? We dig deep into the core of every story, unraveling the mysteries one podcast at a time. Join Robert and the crew as we navigate this vibrant, ever-changing cyberpunk landscape, bringing you interviews with the most intriguing minds out there. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, a news junkie or a weather enthusiast, there's something here for you. So strap in, listeners, because we're about to take you on a ride through the neon-lit alleys of truth and intrigue. This is the Robert and Cruz Show, where the future meets the fantastic.